Okay, so you have any questions in the previous sessions? So in the yeah, yeah, in the previous session we have seen how to complete all the controller actions. Okay, so here we are returning the this is returning list of patients, a specific patient. This is returning true or false. This is returning true or false. This is returning true or false. But are the services returning properly? Go here. So create. So what we are doing, just we are returning true. Okay. So instead of returning true, what we will do, so we will take var return, or else you can say return true. So what is this going to say? So what is the return value here? It's going to, but take this into var result, okay, and return result. So place, so this is local variable int, but this is expecting a boolean value. So result, so you can say return if this is equal greater than 0. Okay, so then return true. Yeah, simply you can do this. So here the funda is this specific statement, it's going to return a integer. So when it's successfully inserting a record, because these return types are very important, because in the API, whatever the return statement we are giving, that will be passed to client. So someone call this API and they will see the return type. They will see the return code, right? So this particular statement, this save changes asynchronously. So what it will do, it will return some integer value. So this is equivalent to this code, var result. So when you say var result, the result will contain 0, 1, 2, 3, because the save changes is going to return a integer value. So when it will return 0, when it will return -1, when it will return 1. In this case, we are inserting a single record, right? So the save changes asynchronously will return the number of records impacted by your query. If you go here, save changes, definition. So this is the definition of the save changes asynchronously. And this is going to return integer. Okay, so this method will automatically call changing tracker and entity framework code does not being, therefore always await calls immediately. So go little up. Okay, returns a task that represents the asynchronous save operation. The task results contain the number of state entries written to database. So in our case, we are going to insert a single record. When you say create patient information, what you are doing, you are writing a record into database, right? So this statement will return 1 when there is a successful insert statement. If there is a failure insert statement, this is going to return less than 1. So based on this, you can say if result greater than 0, then return true, or else return false. So uh, this is the code, but I can combine this in a single statement. I can say return and 0. So this entire condition, it will return true when there is a successful insertion. When there is a successful insertion, this is going to return 1, and I am checking greater than 0. That means it will be true. When there is a failure insertion, this is going to return either 0 or -1. So in that case, this is going to say false, and I am taking the return true or false and I am passing it to my controller. Is it makes Does it make sense? So again, I am returning true or false here. Okay, so then the same here also so how many records we are um, updating here? So return greater than 0. Again, same. The number of records we are going to delete is 1 record. So here list any or avoid list any null. So here we are checking the condition. If there is uh, any items, we are passing the list or we are passing the null value. So here also you can say the same return. Okay, yeah, either this will return a empty value or this is null value, or this is going to return uh, the specific list of records. Yeah, the list of records. So update. Okay, so here return greater than 0. So here you say return false, and here also return false. Okay, yeah. So here delete patient information. So any questions here? Okay, so now we are going to write some validations here. Okay, so if I pass 0 or if I don't pass any value here, will it a applicable record? First see whether will it says, first check whether it will work if I don't pass anything in the delete. Okay, so the delete patient, it is taking a ID, and if I don't pass anything, let's see what it will do. Okay, method not found. But no. Here the APIs from .NET Core 3 or 6 onwards, this is the URL, right? This is the URL. So when you are calling this URL, you have to pass this parameter. So that's why it is saying not found, because we don't have any endpoint which will take a delete, which is a delete and which is not taking parameters. So this is correct. It's not even hitting your API. But here, if you say null or zero, what will happen? The default value 0. Yeah, still, because here we made this ID, and if you remove this, and even if you remove this, yeah, now it's hitting, but it's 0. Now it's hitting, but it's 0. So here you can say model state dot is valid, it's true, but a delete record with 0 is not valid, right? So here what you can do, if ID, these are the validations you can do, less than 0, so return bad request, bad request, and you can say ID should be ID should present. No. So deletes are very carefully we have to delete. If someone without passing this ID, deleting entire data is not at all suggestible. If some hacker call this without passing any ID, will you delete all the data? No. So bad request. So what you should return a bad request. So take the parameters of the bad request, object error. So this is expecting a new object. Yeah, the bad request itself, it will say, um, simply say return bad request, cannot implicitly convert type bad request to bool. Okay, this is taking a boolean. Okay, the problem here, it's taking a bad request result. Or throw bad request. Yeah, throw bad request. No. So basically, this bad request you should pass, but this is more applicable with the post request. We'll see the bad request, but this will be more applicable with the post request. Let's come here, and what will happen? Where is that? Patient information. Create. Where is create post? So here, if model state dot is valid, not equal to is valid, so then you're going to return bad request. But again, this is taking a boolean. Just check how to pass. So basically the return type should be, we have to make some more changes. So this is the bad request 400. So here, okay, they are not returning anything. HTTP post, async task, JSON result. This is MVC. Async task, checker. Yeah. So there are some error codes in API. API .NET Core API error codes. Yeah, so 200 is a success, 201 when the record get created, 202 accepted, bad request 400, unauthorized 401, 405, the method not allowed. Okay, so we'll come back to this. We will define our APIs to return those error methods. We have to make some changes to it. But today we will see how to make these validations. So when I run this, when I run this, so when I create a new API, a new patient information, so where is that patient information? Okay, here I'll put a breakpoint, and here I'm uh, going to send a message, create patient information, and I'll remove this name. I'll remove this name, and I'll send this postman request. Okay, so now the name does not contain any value, and let's see what will happen. True. Did it insert a new record? Let's see. Is name not a mandatory? Patient information. Oh, is name not a mandatory? Column. It's a not null value. How come it's inserting a null value here? Is it problem with SQL Server? Select star from patient information where name equal to null. Okay, where name equal to null. Where name equal to empty. Column name is null. Then what value it inserted here? Copy. It's a null value only, right? Name is not null. Okay. Is it inserting any? I don't know what, because it's when I say not null, it's retrieving this value. Let's insert a patient information script as insert. Okay. So the name values, I'll give an empty value. Name, I'll give an empty value, comma. Date of birth, I'll give date, time, dot now. Okay, address ID 1, I'll give notes, mobile number, email address. Okay, so what is complaining about? Okay, try to insert this. Okay, say null. Keyword null. Okay, values. You have to give like this, values. Okay, name, date of birth, address ID, medical notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So values will be inserted into okay, comma. Patient identifier. What is this date time? Yeah, copy this data DOB and insert here. It's allowing a empty value. It's not allowing a, but it should not allow a empty value. I don't know why it is doing it. See, these are empty values. So the patient without name is not a valid patient, right? So we should not allow our API to insert this kind of data. So where we can stop it? Here in the patient controller. So here we can specify the bad request, or there is another way. If you go here, so we call it as a data annotations. So using system dot component model dot data annotations. So this is the namespace, and it's very important uh, as part of your interview. They'll ask how you implement validations in the MVC or API. So required, and you can say please enter name, and this is the error or message, error message. Okay, and even there are few other display name. So this is name. Instead of giving the uh, direct names, you can do this. Okay, so now when you try to hit your API with this fault payload, yeah, we can, yes. So see, please enter name. It's not even hitting your API. It's not even hitting your API. Yeah, so there is a format. Um, so here you can say display format. So display format, you can specify the date time format. You are saying about address ID, right? Input format, data type, you can specify uh, data type dot currency credit card. So HTML, do we have any phone number? Okay, say this and see what will happen. So phone number, okay, enter name, okay, it's hitting. But the basic data type is phone number, right? It's a string. The mobile number we took as a string, okay. Um, Allow only numbers, okay. Uh, Date display format, date attribute, date format. So DDMMYY, display format, date format, string. One second. Display format, in the view model, right? Okay. So here you can specify view model for date of birth. What is that? Display format. And here you can specify date format string, data format string, not date format, data format string. And here you can specify 0 mm dd YYYY. Did I miss anything? So that brace is closing there. Okay, put this entire, yeah, and then data type, you can specify data type dot date. Okay, so there is a data type dot date and there is a data type dot date time. Okay, let's see what will happen when I say date time. So mmddyyy. So what data it is returning till now? Hit this. Okay, is this returning? Okay, maybe when you create a new patient information. So let's see. See, the data converted into DD, YYYY and date type format. Here you are giving data in a different format, right? Here you are giving data in a different format, but the data will be converted into MM, uh, DD, YYYY and date time stamp. Let's see how it inserted data here. So underlying again, we are going to assign it to the DOB here, right? Into the model. So again, here also we can specify where is the model. Yeah, patient information. So here you can say the same using system dot data dot data annotation. What is it? Component model dot data annotations, right? So here you can say the same. You can take and put it here. Okay, and let's see. Did you see any change? No. Okay, so in the database, it's going to assign the format of the date time, but when you are dealing with the model, this is going to return and display in that uh, fashion. Because again, the date time always will be stored in this format only, irrespective of your data type at C sharp. But internally, you can change the format of your data and you can control it by using your view model here. This is the, so if you remove MMDD and if you say only YY, let's see. Not this one. I want to see only date. So if you say data type is only date, how this is going to treat the date? Number two, so I'm passing. So here you can see. See now it's still taking date of birth as a time. So there is no impact of the data type, but you change the format, datetime format string. If you change it to YY, I'm pretty sure it will take that YY only. No, why? It doesn't have any impact. Do we have YY format? First of all, MMDD different date format, date format, date format strings. MMDD, the current date and time, 0 MMDD. Yeah, it should reflect MDDYY. DDD triple T. Yeah, we'll see more about the validations and also how this controller should return different error messages or error codes. We'll see it in the next session. Okay, any questions? And also we'll continue the validations.